This is Legends and Libations.
Sipping through history.
Let the journey begin.
Tears falling down at the party. Saddest little baby in the room. Fears, tell me fears, don't get me started. I get a little gray.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Legends and Libations. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Jesse.
And this week we have a special Halloween episode.
It feels like not that long ago we were here.
It does. This is actually a pretty quick turnaround for us.
Yeah. I feel like we just got you guys an episode and now we're like, let's get back in it.
Just because I'm slow at editing, just to be honest with you.
Our last episode was like a godforsaken amount of hours. Sorry, guys. But
sometimes we just get talking and we just don't know when to stop.
Yeah. So today I'm going to just start off like it's Halloween, spooky season, the time of demons and devils around us.
I see some drinks are already have conjured themselves.
Yeah. I conjured us some drinks.
Yes, he conjured us some drinks. But I think we have a pretty scary episode today. Yeah. It was something that kind of like gave me that chills feeling when I heard about it for the first time.
Yeah. Today we're talking about
Houska Castle.
Yeah. A gate to the underworld, a gate to hell, which is not something we hear about all that often.
But I'm pretty excited to talk about it.
Me too. So today, for that reason, I thought need to give us a little extra protection. Right?
What have you got here for us, Jesse?
Today, our cocktail of choice is called St. Michael's Sword.
Well, that's appropriate.
Yeah. Well, it will become even more apparent to us as we go through this legend. You'll see exactly why St. Michael's Sword is what we chose to drink.
Can we go ahead and try it?
Yeah. I've never tried this. This is going to be a good cocktail. Maybe.
All right. Wow, that is good. I taste a lot of whiskey. I see that we've got a whiskey. Can you tell us a little bit about what's in it?
This particular cocktail calls for a very particular whiskey. This is called the Devil's Cut. Have you ever heard of the Devil's Cut?
No, is that like a place where you go swimming?
It does sound like a swimming hole, doesn't it?
It does. Where a lot of kids like drown from your high school because they jumped in and hit the rocks and stuff like that.
That got dark. So the Devil's... God, that's dark.
Well, it's only going to get darker from here.
Yeah, guys, get ready.
Dim the lights.
And get cozy. Dim the lights. You guys are going to experience really some of the darkest stories here
at Legends and Libations.
My goodness. So this drink calls for a devil's cut of whiskey. Now, whenever whiskey is distilling, what happens is a lot of it's lost to vapors. They call that the angel's portion or the angel's cut, right?
Do they capture that or is it just gone?
It's just gone.
Oh, okay.
And it has to be like that's the way of it. But there's also the dredges or the whiskey that's like soaks into the wood is called the devil's cut.
Okay. So, it's like the devil gets his due.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow, apparently, Jim Beam made a deal with the devil and got it back.
They just like squeeze the wood really hard until
I literally don't know how they did it, but they're like, you know what, we do got this.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Witchcraft. They probably didn't. They did in Houska Castle.
Maybe so.
And then, so after that, you do actually have to add a blackberry or a raspberry liqueur or brandy.
Okay, which one are we doing?
We did a charbord. It is a black raspberry liqueur. It is allegedly the devil, whenever he was thrown out of heaven by Saint Michael.
Oh, St. Michael.
Yeah, by St. Michael. He an Irish legend says that he landed in a blackberry bush.
Do those have thorns?
Yep.
Okay,
which is why they have thorns. And then, of course, it has 2 dashes of bitters.
My favorite.
A blackberry to finish it off.
Nice. Those blackberries look really good.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Publix was on point.
Look at these spherical ice cubes that we have.
Yeah, these are new ice cubes. We're very excited.
We're sponsored by Spheres.
Yeah, I don't know how long they'll last, but I'm excited.
Probably as long as our sponsorship lasts. For the first half of the episode.
This drink is really good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like it better than the one we had last time.
God, yeah, me too. This is a good drink, guys. Devil's Cut whiskey tastes pretty damn good, actually. I'm surprised by it. I didn't know if it's from the dredges. I didn't know if I would expect it to be good or not.
Right, because the way that you describe it as from the dredges makes it sound like it's not going to be that good, like it's the leftovers or whatever.
the devil's portion.
Mm-hmm.
God, that sounds cool.
It's good marketing, though. I think. Yeah.
I mean,
we're always getting those good marketing liquors.
Yeah, love good marketing liquors.
Can you tell us about the patron saint book that you got this from?
Yeah. So it's called Drinking with Your Patron Saint. I actually did change a few things on it to make it a little bit more
appropriate.
I didn't want to do martini glasses.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And also, I didn't want to ferment my own blackberry brandy.
Wow, that just sounds onerous.
Yeah, well, it's going to take 2 weeks, and I had about 2 hours. So I was like, well, next best thing.
That's fun.
So tell us about this, like, Houska Castle. We've all heard about these ideas of gates to the underworld. We all saw it in Hercules. Disney, but how does that actually start?
So it actually starts before the castle was built. Even though this story begins in what is the castle capital of the world, or at least one of them, so I hear.
The Czech Republic.
The Czech Republic has tons of castles. Like you could throw a stone and hit a castle.
I wonder if places with castles just tell us that, because I was in Wales.
Right. I remember hearing about
I was
this
in
from
Wales some
too.
time ago, and they were like, this is the castle capital of the world, or they have more castles per capita. And I'm like, is that just if you have a lot of I'm not counting all the castles. So like, are they just telling me that?
Exactly. How could I possibly count all the castles? My mom went to Ireland recently, and she told me the same thing about Ireland when she got back. So
is the Czech Republic truly the
it's like the one that it's
capital?
Like the museum that has the Spear of Destiny. It's just like 4 different museums, and they all claim that they have it.
Yeah, it's actually very hard to know if but I think they do. Europe has a lot of castles.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to a castle before?
Yes, I've been to the castle that they modeled the Disney World castle off of.
Where was that?
In Germany. It's called Neuschwanstein, and it looks just like the Disney castle that you see in Disney World.
That's cool.
It was cool from the outside. On the inside, it looked kind of like gaudy and just kind of.
Was it over the top?
Yes, ornate. Yeah.
Okay.
Frivolous. That's the word I'm looking for. Not like you would defend it against a horde of oncoming like Mongols or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Interesting. So but this particular castle does have a little bit of
it's different.
It's different, but we're jumping way ahead. There's no castle there.
Right. So let's start before the castle is built, and then we'll talk about what makes the castle special.
Yeah, because castles are only special because of what happens with them.
That's true. Do you want to set the scene for us?
The scene, we're going to about the 800s.
This is the early Middle Ages.
Yeah, and it's not the Czech Republic.
It was Bohemia.
Bohemia.
Mm-hmm.
Bohemia Rhapsody.
I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but yeah.
No, I think that's Bohemia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, in Bohemia in the 800s, we're looking at a relatively Slavic form of paganism that we know hardly anything about.
Really?
Like, it's not like the Greek and Romans where it's all written down.
I see.
It's like we have a couple statues, a couple say-so stories, but
even a etching somewhere.
Yeah, but even the way they converted to Christianity was so passive that it's like it was just kind of forgotten. A couple generations, it was just gone.
That's really interesting. It kind of seems like that kind of pagan religion is in a lot of places before the mighty storm of the Catholic Church like takes over.
Yeah, and it in some ways, like this one feels a little freakier because it is like pre-Germanic tribal religion. It is somewhat touching some of the Viking-esque religions.
I see.
But a lot of their old religion, they had temples, they worshipped on hilltops, they worshipped under oak trees, but we don't know if they understood the gods were the gods up there, were the gods like nature spirits, like the Native American kind of religion.
So we don't know a lot about the ins and outs of what they exactly believe.
They could have even just been their ancestors that lifted up heroes, right? But what you do realize is a lot of their gods were like part animal. Like a lot of their gods were these strange mix of human and
hybrid human animal creatures.
So many of them. We're
going to talk about that in a little bit too.
We have to, because that's like, it's very weird because they felt like these gods, like they were in danger by these gods, but also they had the favor of these gods. So one of them called Veles, he was one of the major like religious players at this time. He was the god of earth, magic, the underworld, which is very Greek. That's
He's covering a lot of ground here.
Yeah, he is. He's like a Hades, Pluto, or Loki kind of character. And he would often transform into a dragon to battle the good gods
That's
or the
pretty cool.
benevolent gods. Definitely the god of thunder. He had a big problem with the god
Had
of
a
thunder.
beef with the god of thunder.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He was also known for, if anyone broke an oath, he would burn, like essentially destroy or give their crops diseases. Now, he's not the only one. Ayla was also a kind of evil weather god. She had a horse head and a serpent body, and she would bring whirlwinds and diseases to destroy crops.
We see a lot of this happening in the future of this.
This is why this is weird, because these gods are very like, these gods already have things that they're like doing. Another one, Vakoric. I'm not going to pretend I understand this. It's Old Slavic, right?
We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, he looks often like a mix of a wolf, a bear, a goat, and a sheep.
Wow.
He doesn't cause direct harm to anyone, but if you see him, he's a bad omen and something bad is going to happen. Others of these, there's a lot of dragon gods with multiple heads. There's like a Hydra twin god. Like there's two of them that are kind of like Hydras. They have multiple heads.
Yeah.
They always come in pairs of 3, like their heads. So 3, 6, 9.
Interesting.
So a lot of their gods, the weirdest one is Sokolov, I guess.
Sokolov.
Yeah. He is a demonic being, and has a human torso, a dog head with one eye and iron teeth, and his back legs are horse legs. And he lives in caves and preys on people. I do not.
I'm having trouble. My imagination ran out like 2 sentences ago.
Put that in AI.
Okay.
Put it in AI, see what happens.
That's
Can it
funny.
even keep up with it? It's like,
We'll let the AI draw that one.
but
That's a good
these
idea.
gods are like really creepy.
They
And a
are.
lot of them are known for destroying, like if you go against them, they destroy cattle or they'll destroy your crops.
Or make you sick, maybe.
Make you sick, yeah. And if you're a person who's dependent on the land, sucks
Right,
to suck,
exactly,
right?
yeah,
There goes your food for the year. There goes for your cattle. What are you going to do? And this is likely part of like that early Germanic raiding kind of people. So they could have also done a little bit of that, but not as much as like the proper Vikings.
Would you say that these were druids? Who believed in that?
Definitely. They were like worshiping under oak trees.
Okay.
The like Christian faith, when it came to them, like there's one saying, I can't remember his name right now. He was known for coming in and like chopping down an oak tree, and everyone was pissed at him, and then he like lifted up like the Christmas tree. But we'll talk about that another episode. It was like,
That sounds like a good Christmas episode.
yeah, maybe we'll use him for Christmas. I don't even remember his name at the moment, but like the big saints that like came here in I think it was in 863. Yeah, 863. We had 2 brothers that came, Saint Cyril and Methodius.
Methodius.
Yeah, they were from the kind of, I think they were from
Name my next kid Methodius.
that'd be cool. They come from the Byzantine part of the church,
Okay.
and they brought the faith there, which is very quickly people converted like that. It was not hard.
They didn't put up much resistance.
None. Like there was
Okay.
this conversion of this area was not known by violence. But when your gods are creepy demons coming out of caves making everyone sick, and then everyone's like, hey, have you heard about this god? And he's loves you and cares about you and doesn't want to make you sick. And
It doesn't
I
have to
think-
be a strong sell for them to like change their mind.
yeah,
I
they're like,
guess.
I don't know if we're gonna keep on with this old religion.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget that paganism or the old religions. Whenever you see modern people who like, I worship the old gods, I'm like, but do you really? Because like those old gods don't give 2 shits about you.
Yeah.
Like they're nature. They're wild. They're dangerous. I mean, the only time we really like the old gods is when it's a nice, peaceful, sunny day.
Exactly. Otherwise, they're like violent and vengeful.
Yeah, and against us in some ways, like right, the nature and humans.
It's
trying
more to
survive
appease them to like keep the weather okay.
Exactly, and these guys seemed particularly scared of their gods.
I could see that.
But again, we don't know tons about their actual religion. They converted pretty quickly.
As we'll see, they had good reason, I think, to be scared of these gods. You said about the year 800, this guy named Prince Slavor was looking for a place to build like a wooden fort that his family was going to inhabit.
Wasn't it like didn't he like love his son and he was like,
Yes, this was going to be like a gift to him, or he wanted his family to.
I wish my family would make me a
wooden fort.
wooden fort.
Yeah. So he found this place. It's about 29 miles north of Prague, which is the capital of the Czech Republic today. And he decided to start construction on this wooden fort on this limestone cliff that they found. And it kind of seems like a strange place to start construction of a fort because it wasn't like a strategic place. It was remote as far as like civilization went at the time. There wasn't any sources of running water nearby.
So is that going to be his like holiday home, run away for the weekend?
Maybe so.
A party castle?
They might have wanted to be really isolationist, I guess, or
they were starting a cult. I'm sure of it. Yeah.
So, and it wasn't along any roads either. It was just like out in the dense, swampy forest of Czechoslovakia, which was called Bohemia at the time. And he got his workers going into this limestone cliff. And while they were working away at the foundation, there ended up being a split or like a chasm that opened up in the limestone.
What?
It was like a giant like gash just appeared. The land split open and caused this like deep, dark hole that they couldn't see the bottom of.
Well, that doesn't freak you out.
Yes, it does a little bit because they tried to fill in the hole by throwing in stones. And not only did the stones not fill in the hole whatsoever, but they couldn't even hear the stones hit the bottom of the hole.
So they're like, oh, let's just fill it with
Yeah, just like throw it in, and it didn't even make a sound. Like no splash, no clangs, no crashes or anything. It just went on and on and on.
That is first, like, what a boyish thing to do. I remember I was onto like the cliffs of Moher in Ireland, and all I wanted to do was throw rocks off the cliff.
There's something natural about that. Just want to throw the rocks off the cliff.
Yeah,
throw the rocks into the hole.
Yeah. But the weirder part is like you always hear it. You're like, oh, I hear the splash.
Exactly.
So that gets really weird. Like, how deep is that hole?
Right. So it was kind of creepy, and this led to some pretty quick superstitions rising up amongst like the villagers that lived nearby. The legend goes that they started hearing screams emanating from the hole at night.
Oof.
Exactly. Screams and sometimes whispers when it was quiet.
That is weird.
And that's not all. They also say that they saw creatures with bat-like wings rise up out of the pit at night, and they would take livestock and carry it back to the hole and drag it into the pit. But that didn't stop there. There were also, like you mentioned, like the hybrid creatures.
Yeah, like the weird old gods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was a specific one that seemed to crawl its way out of the hole from time to time, and it was part frog, part dog, part man.
Oh,
so it was like a man frog dog.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would see in like a Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah, it does.
Like, yeah, that's creepy.
That's what like Ponyo was. It's kind of like a frog
Ponyo
dog
was probably a little cuter
thing.
than this.
Yeah, Ponyo still freaked me out a little bit though.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And this would also terrorize the villagers, and the livestock would fall sick, the crops would wither.
Oh, that's weird. It's like gets really associated with those old gods.
Mm-hmm. It sounds exactly like the way that you mentioned the old gods behaved. And so it turned out that they didn't really finish the fort that they were working on. Like these guys got freaked out by the occurrences that were happening.
Yeah, a hole to like oblivion, the hole to the underworld like opens up.
Mm-hmm. You're seeing these bat-like things come out of it with like giant wings. I kind of picture like Mothman. And we haven't done Mothman yet, but we want to do it someday in the future. And they just said that we've had enough there. And
yeah, I'm not building there.
Yeah, Prince Slavor kind of said, I was like, I don't know if I want my son to move into the wooden fort on top of the pit to hell. So we're just going to like leave it unfinished.
So they just left their work done.
They just left
their undone work.
And I'm not sure how far along they got. I don't think that they got very far, or either the wooden structure sort of like fell into decay, because about 400 years later, this place remained uninhabited until later on the Duke of Bohemia.
Ottokar?
Yes. Ottokar II. He was looking for somewhere to build a structure as well. And he came across this pit, and he had heard the local legends that were surrounding it about it being a gateway to the underworld. But he wanted to investigate further. He couldn't just let it stay as a legend. Some people just have to go the extra mile. So Duke Ottokar II had a really novel idea for how he wanted to investigate this hole. Jesse, do you want to tell us about that?
This Duke, I mean, could you imagine like walking to an area and all this, like these rural locals being like, oh, there's a demons coming out of there. There's devils. Oh, and again,
superstitious locals.
it's been 300 or 400 years since this thing originally was touched, and the locals could be just like, oh, their plants aren't doing good. They're not fertilizing the ground well
If
enough.
nothing was happening, don't you think that those legends would like die?
Yeah, like if they were just fine, like they should have died. But
It'd be like in 800.
yeah,
They
yeah.
did the years like we do now, right? They'd be
Yeah.
like, this is the year 800. This is the year whatever.
I'm
At
not
some
positive.
point,
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
adopted some kind of calendar, and they'd be like,
Yeah,
well, this was hundreds of
They
years
would have
ago.
used a Julian calendar then. Yeah, yeah.
So if it didn't just like die because nothing happened, then there might be some kind of
Like
evidence
I
to
mean,
it.
like the problem was the locals were still experiencing these things,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the Duke is like these babbling dummies. I don't know if this is real, but he sees that they're actually quite fearful of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, okay,
He got his drone and he flew his drone into
flew
the
the
hole.
drone down.
No, that's not what he did.
That's not how that went.
They didn't have drones
Allegedly,
that we know of.
that we know of.
The Atlanteans might have.
So
Next best thing.
next best thing, he's like, you know what, prisoners.
Exactly.
Get his
They're
prison force.
expendable. We got
Yeah.
a lot of these guys.
So he got a whole bunch of people who were like on the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm going to give you a deal you can't refuse. You either die or you could go down this really dark hole. Tell me what's down there and I'll let you go
down by
free.
a rope.
Yeah, we'll lower you down, rope. I mean, none of them are fat. They're like, so it's going to be really easy.
I wonder if they had heard of this and they were like locals to the area and they knew about it.
Or if he chose people who knew
Had
nothing. of it.
nothing to do with it at
Could
all.
you imagine the difference? Because I think they had to be volunteers.
Uh-huh.
So maybe he took people who knew nothing of it. They were from Prague. They didn't know. They didn't know better. He's like, you committed crime against the king.
How would you like to be pardoned?
Go down into this dark hole. Do it for me now.
So did anyone take the deal?
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. The first time he went, there was a big group of people I went with. Him. They're like, I don't know how many, but probably several. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, let's do this. So the first one that actually is like, he's like a young prisoner. He's like, very full of energy. He's like, I can do this.
He had his whole life ahead of him.
Yeah.
and-
He's like, if I get out now, I have a future.
yeah.
He can go marry. He can
He
go.
could totally reverse his fortune.
Yeah. Go back home, marry that girl that he misses, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So, God, this drink is good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I'm enjoying it. Okay.
Ice
anyways.
cube last.
Yeah, this ice cube's these spherical ice cubes are gonna last a little bit. Anyways, so this first prisoner gets his harness all tied on. I don't know how they
Get the
roped him
big
up.
burly
Yeah,
guys.
did they rope him around the waist or just all around or I don't know.
Surely he wasn't just holding on to it.
No.
He would have to have it like
Yeah,
looped
yeah,
around
it's
his
wrapped
waist,
around him,
probably. Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, he's like, okay, I'm gonna jump in here. No, he doesn't jump. He starts.
He's
climbing
lowered
up.
into
He's
the
lowered, yeah.
hole.
So he slowly descends into the darkness, which, it's a dark hole that no one sees the bottom of. It makes sense.
It has to get dark pretty quick.
I'm surprised he didn't take a candle, but he didn't.
That's a good point.
He just goes down and
How are they supposed to report back anything they saw if there was no light?
yeah, like I saw nothing.
Uh-huh.
It was dark.
Maybe they did take candles and that just wasn't included.
Yeah, it just
in the
wasn't
thing.
included in
Yeah.
it. I think they should have taken a candle.
Right. It would have been common sense.
Yeah. So probably a candle,
Mhm.
likely. Anyways, so he gets descended down some ways.
One of those old timey lantern sort of
Yeah, yeah.
things. Yeah. Do they have those back then? I don't
That
know.
could be a little, maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not, maybe. So as he descends down, he starts convulsing and shaking and yelling, screaming, like just these kind of like you can't even really tell what he's saying, but he's screaming in agony and he's shaking and they're like, oh my God,
The
we gotta pull
rope
back up. Yeah, the rope's
is
just
jerking around in their hands.
It's like caught a big fish situation.
Yeah.
But it's not. And so they go pulling him back up.
Is he alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. Whenever he gets up, they pull him up, and he's babbling in uncoherent like language. His eyes are like crazed, looking two different ways, but he's aged
Wow.
like 50 years.
that's crazy.
This like 20, 30-year-old man
Mm-hmm.
is like ancient, white hair, eyes crazed, wrinkles. His skin is like almost like
Wow.
white and ashy.
Does he say anything that they can understand?
He just his speech is like hysterical.
He's just garbled.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Okay.
He can't do anything. Babbling.
So his brain is fried, is what it sounds like.
He says something about terrible smells, and he smells bad too,
Oh, okay.
which is weird. as they bring him out, they let them lay there. They try getting information from, but all the other prisoners like, I don't know if I'm going to do this.
I'm having second thoughts about this
I think
whole thing.
This is a bad idea, Duke.
Mhm.
It ends up that within a couple days he was dead.
Wow. So he died from this.
Yeah, the official text says that he died of fright.
Wow. You don't hear about that today.
Yeah, well, I guess we just call it anxiety and heart attacks.
Heart attack. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
But
so they didn't get any answers really out of him for what was actually in the hole.
no, I mean they really didn't get any answers because like there was nothing to be said. Now there were supposedly a couple other prisoners that did go, sometime later.
I did hear differing accounts.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
said that he was the last, and some said that other people were also either maybe made against their will to go into the hole.
Yeah, but quickly it came out the same results either way. The experiment just repeated itself. If it did happen, it didn't come to any.
What could possibly make your like hair turn white and make you
I was trying to think of that. Like, what ages a person like that?
It's like they're being stuck into like a time warp sort of thing.
Well, because I know like there's a lot of mentions of it smelling like vapors and sulfur. And
sulfur, yeah, that's very popular.
I wonder if there was something like burning or hot there. Or
sulfur is also like a prominent smell around paranormal activity a lot of the time.
I don't understand necessarily why though. It is. I mean, even like in the old biblical text, it's associated with kind of like the demonic.
That's interesting.
Or Satan, or I guess the hell or something. But it seems to me like I couldn't think of a logical reason. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons,
like
I'm
a
not,
geothermal sort of like something like that, like the gases escaping from the
burn him
hole
up really quick or something.
Yeah, that would explain the smell, but it wouldn't explain like the aging. I don't think.
Yeah, well, and yeah, exactly, and
unless you're exposed to some kind of maybe like radiation or
vapor that makes you kind of go crazy.
Yeah.
You found the Ark of the Covenant.
It's buried down there.
Yeah. But so like it came across the desk of King Wenceslas.
Oh, good King Wenceslas.
Yeah, the song.
From the song.
Yeah, the Christmas song. If you guys haven't heard that song, it's fun.
I'm a big fan of the King Wenceslas song. What did Wenceslas do when he heard about it?
He ordered it to be covered up and something to be built over it. Like he was like, this isn't happening anymore. This is not okay. He pushed down the Duke's authority. No more prisoners. We need to cover that up.
So he took him at his word, pretty much. He believed them about the story with the prisoners in the pit. Okay.
I mean, if you even go now to the castle, outside of the castle, there is a statue of King Wenceslas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It still exists. Even in the woods, like a little ways away from it.
That's pretty cool.
So he ordered them to build something. Of course, there's a chapel in a castle. Can you tell us a little bit about that castle?
Okay, so this is probably the strangest castle that you'll ever see. We've finally gotten to the Houska castle.
The actual castle proper, which if you really start with the castle's really weird.
The castle is very strange. If you look at a picture of it, which I'm going to put on the screen, and I encourage those of you that just listen to look up a picture of this castle. It's not like the Disney World castle or any other medieval castle that you see in.
No. The typical medieval castle. Actually, I typically think of castles as super good protection in a zombie apocalypse.
This one would probably not be.
No, not at all. Because like a typical castle is built with an outer defense. It might even have something that trips them up, a moat or something around it.
Yeah,
the walls are high. There's a couple ways in.
But they have the things for archers to look through to shoot arrows. What are those things called?
Oh, I forget at the moment.
Me too. They're not portholes, or they're port cutlass. What's that?
Something like
that. I don't know.
Arrow shooting holes.
Yes, yeah.
But also like the whole idea of like, I mean, literally, I do not know why these like all these like zombie shows that come out, like The Walking Dead, they're always in places like, Atlanta. But if you actually went to like an old World War, like Civil War fort, or if you went to an old castle, you could defend that way longer than other things, because they're literally built as these kind of natural but human-made defenses.
That's their design. It's made like that on purpose.
Exactly.
It's meant to be a stronghold.
Exactly. And this is like a good option, but Houska Castle is not.
So imagine that kind of castle and completely invert it, and you get Houska Castle. So
Can you explain that?
The outside of the castle is not really defensible at all. It does have high walls, but it doesn't have a moat. There's no drawbridge. most of the windows on the outside of the castle are actually fake windows, and they're
fake.
Yeah, they just look like that from the outside. A few of them are real, but most of them are not real at all.
What are they?
I don't know why. I think they just made it to like give it the appearance of a castle. But once you get into the inside, things are weirder because it's built in a square around a central courtyard, and all the defenses are pointed inward towards the courtyard.
That's
so you have the battlements, and you have like the windows that would look down for archers to fire, and you have these like balconies that wrap around, and they all overlook the central courtyard that Houska Castle is constructed around, and the strong walls are all facing inward.
That's so strange. So they like they literally built it inverted.
Yes.
Wow.
So King Wenceslas, or whoever was in charge of the actual like construction, they put stone slabs over the pit because they were done with that.
They're like, we're done with Satan and his boys.
No more volunteers, and we don't have explosives yet. So, because like today, if they found a pit like that we would probably drop some dynamite down it, and eventually we would probably drop a nuke down it or something. We love doing stuff like that. If we don't understand it, we want to blow it up.
I don't understand what that's doing right there. Let's throw a bomb on it.
Yeah, I mean, we shoot nukes at the atmosphere. Of course, we're going to throw it down a hole. That's like the ultimate boys throwing a rock down a hole. And when you're the United States government, you're like, my rocks are a ballistic missile.
I'm going to throw it down that hole.
Yep. So they erected these stone slabs over the pit. They built the castle around it. And the castle was not only strange in the way that its defensive fortifications faced inward, it also didn't seem like the castle was constructed with permanent living in mind, because we talked about how it wasn't near any running water sources.
Which is super strange. That's like almost a necessity for a medieval or any old civilization, is running water. Even up until pretty much people decide to live in the desert for some reason.
Right. We talked about that before. Any sort of civilization is going to be built up around running water. In castles especially, you would want in times of, I guess, like when you'd be like under attack or under siege or something, and you brought the villagers would come into the castle, and that you see in some situations.
Bringing in the farm hands and all that.
Because you don't want them to just be like, you don't want your whole civilization just to be totally decimated. Even if the king, like, he valued himself way more than he valued his like serfs or
he
whatever.
Could be a good king, like good King Wenceslas.
Good King Wenceslas. He would have brought his guys inside.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
I love that song.
Me too.
It's such a good song.
I wonder if the copyright has expired on that, so we could actually play it in the show, or if you two would be like, no,
you can't play that.
We have the rights to that. But it also didn't have a kitchen. There was nowhere to prepare food.
How are you going to make ramen?
I have no idea. How are you going to slaughter the animals?
Actually, now that I think about that, I feel that reminds me a lot of my students. They're like, I can't cook anything in my dorm because they don't have kitchens. I'm like, God, that is weird not to have a kitchen. It's like
strange.
You're totally paralyzed from being an adult.
I never lived in a dorm. So.
Neither have I. But my students mention a lot. They're like, oh, I wish I could cook, but I can't. And they're because they just don't have anything.
They want them to use those dining dollars and meal plans.
Yeah, they want to get some money out of them.
Probably a crime to have a microwave.
Can I build off of yours and make you another drink?
I'll just go ahead and okay, so no running water, no kitchen. Everything's pointed inward, fake windows. There are also no staircases led from the courtyard to the upper levels. So
there's no stair. How do you get up?
I think you would have to go inside, or maybe they were constructed later. Like it was completely separated, the courtyard from the castle proper. It was like they were designed for the courtyard to be isolated from the rest of the world. Like I said, everything was defending as if something was coming out of the pit, possibly.
Mm-hmm. The old gods
to contain it within the castle. And this isn't the only.
That liquor looks like blood. It's beautiful.
Yes, it does.
In this dark way.
So the castle wasn't the only strategy that they employed. That's a good like physical sort of barrier to whatever would come out of the pit, but they also included a really good spiritual barrier. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Jesse?
Yeah, as I'm actually making this,
St. Michael's sword.
St. Michael's sword. This is actually, I'm supposed to stir it 40 times to go with St. Michael's Lent. I don't know if I'm going to actually do that, but that's what it says on the thing.
That's okay.
I think
if you did it, I could just like speed it up and you just be like, like that.
But the, I feel like I only did it like 10, so I at least need to do it a little bit, right?
We get a quarter of protection.
Yeah. You're also, when you drink this, you're supposed to say, Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
Allegedly, that's what the book says.
We get a new blackberry.
Yes. Put all the blackberries in there. I love the fruit at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The soaked fruit.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. That was the best part of the last drink. I think
Yeah.
the blueberries that we had. Yeah.
God, that drink just was not great. This one I'm super enjoying. Okay, so yeah, along with the castle, because so you got the normal like mechanical defenses in the physical one, but this is a gate of hell.
Right.
You don't
can't
just
only just throw a wall over it.
You can't just throw a wall over it. One of the big things you need a chapel.
That's true.
You need a church.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty typical for Catholicism in this time of the world. And so essentially, if you go to any church in Europe called St. Michael's,
there's more than one.
Yeah, there's a lot of St. Michael's.
Okay.
There's more churches called St. Michael's. If it's named after St. Michael the Archangel, it is likely that area was a pagan temple before it was Christian.
So that's a good sign to let you know.
Well, it's a sign to let you know that there was pagan activity, and they don't want you know that whole parable where Jesus calls out the demon, and they're like, oh,
in the pigs, or is this the We Are Legion?
No. It's where he reminds them, like, if you chase one out, more will come back. Do you remember him briefly saying that? The idea is that these pagan gods would come back. And
which is what happens during like exorcism situations a lot of the time. So
what they did is they would call on the defense of St. Michael, who's known to be the defender of Israel, defender of the church. When I say Israel, I mean like the ancient Israel. And
now they just use the Iron Dome.
Yeah. And also like the defender of the church. He's known as the patron saint and protector of the church. And so a lot of times those early Christians will call on St. Michael when they take and replace the pagan temple with a church. So they decide that we need to build a chapel here. Good. It's a good thing to do.
I think that was a smart idea.
This chapel is, this is really where I get the drink idea, because
a lot of intention went into this chapel.
It's literally over a gate of hell. It's a gate of oblivion literally exists underneath it. It
kind of tells the story.
Yeah.
On the inside too.
Yeah. It has all this crazy like art. So one of the big pieces of art is Saint Michael battling a dragon, which is,
you talked about the dragon earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the gods become dragons, right?
Did you know about the art, or did you know about the pagan gods becoming dragons first?
I knew. I started researching the art, and then I was like, okay, I actually need to understand what this ancient religion was like. So then I studied the ancient religion. Now the dragon, Saint Michael and the dragon, is not like a unusual piece of art.
Novel thing.
Like I literally have that at my local parish. That's a normal piece, but this one, it feels very particular because it's literally these old gods turned into these winged bat dragon creatures, right?
Over the pit of hell.
Yeah, over the pit of hell. So there's another picture of St. Michael in there, like stabbing or skewering this little pig demon.
I saw that one.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then there's another one of St. Michael like weighing souls.
Yes.
In like a last judgment. Yeah, with the sword, right? And so St. Michael's sword.
That's an interesting image of the weighing of the souls, the scale and the sword.
Yeah, it's like he is the divine protector, and it's weird to see him as judge.
It's portraying a bunch of roles.
Yeah, it's weird. He's protecting the church from the dragon, Satan, these old gods. He's also
conquering the demon.
Yeah, he's conquering the demon, and he's also this kind of
weighing the souls.
Weighing the souls into.
Is he not normally known for weighing the souls? Does somebody else have that job?
You don't see, like, it feels like that's like God's job. Like, or maybe you do have like, maybe there's some images of St. Peter being like, oh, you can come in or you can't.
The scale is not unusual, is it? Or because I know in like Egyptian mythology that you'll often see the scale portrayed a lot of time.
I mean, even like Lady Justice. Lady Justice literally holds it, right? But it's weird that it's St. Michael because he's not like known to be the judge.
Right.
But maybe he is heaping judgment on these like demons or something.
Maybe it's for them.
Yeah. Maybe that's where the judgment is. Because I don't think he's not really associated with judging human souls.
That seems more pertinent to this specific location.
Yeah, exactly. There's other figures also in there. Like we can't like.
There's a weird one that I've heard of.
We'll go over it. We'll go over a handful. There's figures such as Saint Andrew, which was the patron of the area
Of golf.
Yep. Yeah, the patron of golf, which they knew that golf courses around this would be really popular. But he's also the patron of the Slavic area.
The whole thing's just like rough.
He's also the patron saint of Scotland. He's in a lot of areas. Yeah, exactly. And there was also Christopher. But Christopher, I always
Christopher Columbus?
No, Saint Christopher.
Okay, the real one.
The real one, the real saint.
Not the co-opted one that Christopher Columbus did.
Oh God, that guy.
What was he call himself? The Christ bearer. That was
I
it.
know,
Yeah,
geez, he's so full of himself.
he really was.
So this Christopher, unlike that, as much as he's a patron saint of travelers, that's not what he's being associated with here. Here, he's acting as the patron saint of protecting from sudden storms and from diseases, which seems very needed for the gods that are being held down under there, who brought diseases and crops were destroyed, and he would bring sickness and bad weather. Remember that one god that bring back the bad weather and tear down all their crops? This is Saint Christopher, like as this kind of protection.
They said this is made in like the 1200s.
1200s, yeah.
And so they had these stories that were emanating from the 800s.
Yeah.
They obviously believe these stories. If they were to put this, it's like every single, what do you call it, symptom that comes from the pit.
They're putting protections everywhere.
Has each one to apply to the different ailments that come out of it.
Yeah,
afflictions. That's where
each affliction is like, here's the saint to protect from it. Here's the saint to protect from it. Along with a lot of it in the frescoes that are on the wall, you see a lot of weird demonic animal-like beings, which again is pretty. If you're familiar with the story, you're like, okay, this is what makes sense.
Is that normal or abnormal?
I don't think it's extremely normal, because
I heard that these were some of the earliest depictions from like this time period that were found in Europe.
Yeah, they're extremely weird. I mean, like I think the weirdest you get is maybe you see gargoyles, and they're kind of weird.
Yeah, gargoyles are really strange, and they're really obscene a lot of the time.
Yeah,
like sometimes you like see them like bent over with their like nuts hanging out, and they're spreading their like for some reason.
Yeah, they're not like, they're weird.
Yeah,
they're not cartoon gargoyles didn't follow that, but they're not like, I'm like, why is this thing here on this beautiful church?
Why?
Yeah, but that's for another time. This one, they're like, I think telling somewhat the story of being there.
Like a warning too.
Yeah, a lot of like them are again those animal human hybrids. There are often humans fighting them off. There's one I was looking at that had like a bear and a red dog. A red dog, I was like, is that like a hellhound coming out or something? I don't know. It was just a weird red dog.
That's strange. I read that, you know how like these kind of hybrid creatures are called chimeras?
Yeah.
And I wondered why that was so associated with the pit itself, and that people were witnessing these hybrid creatures.
Because these aren't the Greek ones, or we say they're not necessarily these like old Greek chimeras. They're really associated with those kind of old Slavic gods,
and they seem kind of like random creations,
like really random.
Yeah,
like Pokemon.
Yeah, almost. One of the things that I read were that the reason that you see these half Birdman sort of creatures a lot of the time is that they were mocking God's perfect creations of animals, and that and to like throw two together that weren't supposed to be together was like an abomination and like an affront to God's authority or like God's creation.
That's interesting. I even think about it with like the kind of Enochian, like, or Enoch, the prophet Enoch, who talked to those like angels that had fallen like, slept with humans and created these kind of giants.
The Nephilim.
Yeah, the Nephilim, exactly. And then you also have like gods like Zeus who pretend to be like a cow, and then he has sex with someone, and they then have like a minotaur son. And it's like, I mean, so there's something about this that like the old world is like,
they weren't gender fluid; they were like species fluid.
Yeah, that's how the gods were. I mean, one story, Zeus is like a ray of light, and he gets someone pregnant.
Oh wow!
Like, okay, a swan.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so there's something weird about like these gods that are like kind of creating these creature humans that are not okay.
It's interesting to think about how they can't come up with an original creation themselves, that they have to steal the inspiration from other creatures that already exist and like piecemeal them together to make something original. It wasn't like, oh, well, they like created a dog or like, I don't know, a bird.
They were like, here's a dog bird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. But one of the kind of really big pointed like paintings on there, there's a centaur.
Oh, centaur.
Sorry. I am.
You're feeling it.
Feeling it.
You're feeling St. Michael's sword has got you. A centaur, just like our logo. Or
yeah, like just
our
like
mascot.
our new. Oh, we should be wearing those t-shirts right now.
We should get them for next episode.
A centaur, and it's a female one. And
that's unusual.
She's shooting a bow and arrow with her left hand, which.
What's the significance in that?
So, in the whole left-handed thing is kind of a weird one. I hear that there's like I hear that like in our grandparents' age, if you were left-handed, it was not okay.
Mm-hmm.
We don't now. We're just like, oh, cool, you're
It's a
left-handed.
normal thing. What did your grandparents think?
Well, it was kind of like a weird, like they were considered weird. But have you ever heard those stories where those people like sinister or evil?
And they are kind of weird usually.
Yeah.
Are
I
you
always want to
left-handed?
tell you that they're left-handed. No, I'm drinking with my right because I'm normal.
Because I'm an American.
Because I'm an American. No, I once heard that the left-handed thing comes from when the Roman legions, they all had to have a uniform, like to actually create that protection. And so if somebody was doing things backwards, it would create a hole in their defense as they all lined up. And so
they ostracized the left-handers.
They're like, no more left-handers. Get rid of the left-handers.
You would think that they would like eventually be able to breed them out if it was like that kind of trait, but maybe it's not that kind of like hereditary trait.
I don't know how people become left-handed.
Well, it's like how they don't like black cats. Well, eventually, don't you think all the black cats would have been eradicated?
But they weren't.
But they weren't eradicated.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's just an interesting thought.
Somehow from that ancient Roman time, it became this idea of something evil or abnormal. It was associated with witchcraft.
The left-hand path.
Yeah.
Heard of that.
Left-hand path is like the path that's like
evil?
darker, evil, magic, witchcraft. All witches are left-handed kind of thing, right? And apparently, even to our grandparents' age, was like a thing where I've heard people say, "Oh, this person said, oh, you're left-handed, you're evil." There was like even stories of nuns saying, "Oh, your son
can't be a nun because you're left-handed,"
which is weird.
That's
super weird.
It's just kind of any kind of what do you call it, like bigotry or not bigotry, where you just persecute people because they're different.
Yeah, because they're weird.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, shoot. It's like people because they're weird.
It's like saying homeschool kids are weird. I mean, but they are kind of weird at the same time.
Yeah, but they're also some of the best people I know.
Right, exactly. Left-handed people can be good too.
Probably.
They're usually,
but they probably do witchcraft.
They're usually creative. They also like smear their ink when they're writing because they have to like drag their hand across it.
Oh, that
it doesn't flow with it, so they have to go the other way, and it's like
I didn't even think about how that would be like. You just have it all on your hand afterwards. So this centaur, so many other commentators focused so much on this centaur.
I noticed that too.
I was like, guys,
it's not that important.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. Like
they're looking too much into it. It's like an English lit sort of class. They're like, we need to look into which hand are they using?
Well, and like, I mean, like, sure, it has some symbolism. I feel like how many times I heard, oh, and there's pagan creatures.
They're missing the forest for the trees sort of thing.
Well, they kept on repeating, there's pagan creatures out in this chapel. I'm like, literally, that's not abnormal at all. I mean, there's been moments where they've used the like pictures of Apollo or Hercules to like make Jesus. Like those are not abnormal things. They were pagans that became Christian. That's the world they knew. And so there's some association, but like much of it seems like closing off that pagan world. And there is this centaur about to shoot this lady in the neck with the left hand, but then there's St. Michael protection everywhere. So like, is it just telling the story of these old gods being bound, these old demons being bound into hell underneath and like being held? Is it something else?
Well, assume that you're going to come across this place like maybe hundreds of years later and that you don't have a way to communicate to them with words.
Yeah.
What the reason for the structure is. And you don't want them to just be like, oh, well, we're going to tear this down and build a Big Lots here.
Yeah, they need to know, the illiterate need to know what's happening there.
Right. And the best way to communicate to the illiterate
Give them picture books.
Give them pictures, just like Trump and his daily briefing is made out of pictures.
Yeah, picture books. I mean, exactly. Children, Trump, whatever we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Like here's what's happening, and that's how we teach. That's how we teach.
You start
through
with pictures.
That's why big stained glass windows were normal in Gothic cathedrals because they would tell the story of Christ, and even though they would hear it in the mass, this would give them like the reminders of those stories.
Right.
Those
I
big
mean, they didn't
moments.
have television.
Yeah.
And they didn't have your mobile phones and
Yeah,
advertisements that were thrown at them all the time.
So they had to have something. And so this chapel gets built over it along with this kind of inverted castle.
Which
What a
seems
weird-
like a lot of defense for
For
something
the-
that might be a folklore story
Which
or
I mean,
urban legend.
how many doorways to hell is there? There's a lot more. And this one is so, there's even one in Prague.
Oh,
There's
really?
one in Prague that was right in the middle of this town that was a gateway, another gateway of hell in Bohemia. It's near Prague Castle, and it was marked. It's just marked by a stone circle in the street. It was marked where demons came and dragged the last pagan prince down to hell for his sins.
That's interesting.
But like,
There's
but-
one in Bulgaria that I want to do a future episode on that has a really good story associated with it.
that's cool.
But this
like-
one seems to be taken really seriously.
Well, more so than all these other ones. These other ones, like, here's a stone to remind us of that. Virgil talks about them. Like, there's just so many of them in history.
I want to say there's some in America too that
But this
have
one
stories.
gets hyped. This one is like has a castle and a chapel, and like good King Wenceslas like made sure it was protected. Like this feels particular compared to others, and chilling. Like
Definitely. It seems like building the chapel was a good idea and that making the defenses face inward was also very smart. But this just didn't necessarily stop the sightings of the creatures that were happening. A few of the other things that they saw in the area would be a headless horse that was just like dripping blood,
oh yeah, I heard about that.
would be wandering around in the woods outside of the castle.
There was also a headless horseman too.
The man was just
yeah.
headless. There was an interesting one where people would see what was essentially like a chain gang of prisoners that were chained together that were walking through the forest, and they were like spectral, like they were the ghosts of the prisoners that might have been put into the pit before, and that they were all bleeding and that they were losing body parts.
Yeah, like their body parts were just like falling off, right?
And some of the stories say that they were like spectral dogs that were chasing them and they were ripping off the body parts, and that the prisoners would just pick up their body parts and just carry them on, but they would just like leave a trail of blood behind them.
Do you know how much this reminds me of Dante's Inferno?
Maybe that's where they got the inspiration from.
Well, this is before. Well, yeah, I think a lot of that's before. It seems, I can't tell if it's the same time because we don't know where all these stories come from, but it's like this idea of the Inferno in which Dante writes about is very similar to this idea that people are seeing around this gate of hell. They're seeing these specter like prisoners are like, and likely if they had the death penalty, they probably did do something pretty evil. And so like, this is kind of like, what's happening?
What did the horse do?
We always, I just re-listened to our Sleepy Hollow episode. Maybe it was that horse.
But that was later, I think.
That was much later, but the same kind of horse.
Right.
The most evil horse ever.
Yeah. But not everyone that inhabited Houska Castle was interested in preventing the things that came out of the pit. Some of them were like actively trying to encourage the evil to come out.
Why would you do that?
Well, if you were a Swedish black magician from the 1600s, you might be particularly interested in doing it.
Oh gosh, I feel like in the 1600s there was such a weird rise of like weird magician stuff.
Probably
Like
so.
weird. I mean that we also saw like the Sorcerer's Stone like really rose up during that time. This is where like people are like thinking in this kind of weird science magic demon worship
Where the spiritual blends in with the scientific.
yeah with the scientific method. It's weird.
So this occurred during a time during the 30 Years' War.
Between Protestants and Catholics. It allegedly is one of the bloodiest wars out there before modern times.
Yeah, the 30 Years' War is known as like the precursor to World War I as far as like terms of total involvement in it. Like all of the continental Europe was involved, I think, in the 30 Years' War. I'm not sure that it lasted exactly 30 years, but
We'll take it for the name.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you
years.
just gotta have a catchy name
Yeah.
for something like that.
It was actually 29 years, but they don't want to call it a 29
if anything,
year
it was probably longer, and they were like rounding down, but who knows? So there was this Swedish mercenary leader who was also an occultist and an alchemist, and his name was Oronto.
Was Oronto trying to make the Sorcerer's Stone?
Yes, I think so. Or he was trying to make an elixir of life.
Oh, geez.
But he thought that it would enhance his power if he inhabited Houska Castle with his guys, like his band of men.
So he's like trying to use like the demon power.
Yes, he's trying to harness it. He's doing like black magic rituals inside the castle. He's given his gang free reign on the town and the villages nearby.
So they are also acting as like a gang of bandits, like
they're
Skyrim bandits.
Well, they're kidnapping and like torturing and raping people, and maybe
That's worse than Skyrim bandits. Skyrim bandits are just like, I
me your
want some
gold."
gold.
Yeah. Well, they were kidnapping people, and they were using them to commit these blood rituals. And the goal of the blood rituals was to gain eternal life. So kind of like the Sorcerer's Stone, but with like a darker
Like
twist
a
to
darker
it.
twist. It's not like just
Not
I created this.
Saving my urine up for a long time.
It's more like saving up blood from innocent women from the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot darker.
Yeah, trade their life for like to extend my life. And so these guys,
Disney villain queen is like that.
Oronto sounds like a Disney villain.
Yeah.
He has a very catchy one-word name that's kind of sinister. It's
Oronto.
like Voldemort.
Yeah.
Oronto.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you know he's bad just by his name.
The fact that they just call him Oronto.
So eventually this had gone on long enough, and the villagers' desire to be out from under his tyranny outweighed their fear of him, and they put a bounty on his head. So they're like, whoever can kill Oronto and get him out of here is going to get like 1,000 gold or something.
Man, 1,000 gold back then
It was probably a lot.
like bajillions of dollars.
Don't quote me on that exact figure, and I don't know what it is adjusted for inflation, but it was a significant sum of money. So these two hunters were like, I volunteer. I want to get that 1,000 gold. And they
set them up for life.
yeah, definitely. They wouldn't have to go hunting anymore. They're only hunting for one person now.
We only need one shot,
One more kill.
one opportunity.
But they knew that Oronto was dabbling in this black magic, and they were kind of they subscribed to it that he might have had something going on with this, like some supernatural ability.
So they knew that he might be dabbling in the dark arts
with the pit underneath.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he's literally a bandit who decided to build his like kingdom on the gates of hell, and. Yeah, I mean,
he took it to the next level with like the rituals and
like
stuff.
if anything's setting up for a Voldemort like character, there you are,
Yeah.
Oronto.
Oronto.
Like we see what you're doing, you sketchy bastard.
It doesn't even take that much to picture him in your mind's eye. Like the scene paints itself pretty much.
You know the evil Rasputin idea?
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Except he has like one of the high collar cape thing.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a homeless monk.
Right. So the two hunters, since they're a little bit afraid of Oronto's magic powers, they go and get some special bullets made by this blacksmith.
I forgot guns were in this world.
I had to look it up and realize
guns.
when
We're in the 1600s. There's guns.
the guns probably weren't very accurate then.
I mean, we already had guns for like 300 years. Guns first started appearing in the 1300s. Well, cannons.
That was in
did.
like China though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well,
We'll
I
see.
mean,
Yeah,
cannons. Yeah. So like, and those
they
are
got
just
smaller and
giant-
smaller.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we're seeing it.
I don't know when they went over from like, it was called like wicklock to flintlock or matchlock or something like that. To made them a lot more accurate.
I do not know enough about guns.
A
to
gun
say,
person would be able to tell me. We are not gun people here at Legends and Libations.
Actually, the person who donated this chimboard for our Legends Libations, his name is Paul, and he's a gun person. Maybe he'll tell us after.
Maybe Paul can chime in.
Paul, when you listen to this episode, chime in so that next episode we can go ahead.
Chronology.
And,
of,
exactly
gun use.
how guns were created and what kind of guns they would have had.
I would love to have a crash course in
1600s.
gun history.
Yeah, we
that would
should.
be very interesting.
Yeah.
But they got this blacksmith to perform this ritual over the bullets, and it kind of reminds me of like having silver bullets to kill a werewolf, right? That silver bullets kill a werewolf.
Yeah.
And something, does it kill a vampire too, or is that just like the
Just garlic bullets.
garlic bullets? That's funny. Okay, so they had the special bullets, And they had the target, which was Oronto. And in the dead of night, they creep up to Houska Castle and they see in one of the windows that is actually functioning as a real window, that there's a light on. And by I say a light on, I mean there's a candle burning. There's some kind of lamp that's illuminating the interior. And they go up to the window, and it's like an open window at this time because you got to get some ventilation going in these castles.
It's a castle. It's gross.
Yeah, exactly. So they look through the window and they peer in there and they see this guy. He's hunched over this table with all these like ancient manuscripts, and he's probably doing
it's giving such like creepy Rasputin vibes.
Oh,
It
yes,
really is.
most definitely. He's probably got some kind of like experimental like glass scientific thing going on.
Yeah, and this is such that age, that time era. It's so full of this. So he's just creeping, making his like list.
He's up late. He's working on his occult black magic alchemy stuff. But they're not sure. I don't know if they know what he looks like, so they want to make sure that they actually get the right guy.
Yeah. Well, these guys are really good hunters. They're not like they're not just shooting random people. They're like,
well, I only got a couple magic bullets, dude. You can't like waste your magic bullets.
I guess that's true. I wouldn't want to waste my magic bullets.
So keeping that in mind, do you know what they do to make sure that it's actually Oronto?
What?
They yell out his name.
Oronto.
And Oronto looks up and turns towards the window, and they're like, that must be him. So they shoot him right between the eyes.
Just like Oronto, bang!
Like one headshot, but it doesn't kill him instantly. So he falls down to the ground and he starts bleeding out. And before he dies, he yells out to his guys. He says, "Bring me my magic hen."
Wasn't it black?
It was a black hen.
A black hen.
Yes, he had a black hen that he thought had the ability to grant him the ability to not die. And before
it's a Horcrux. He put himself in the hen.
Yeah, exactly. Bring me my Horcrux.
Bring me my Horcrux. Bring me my black hen.
Why would you put it in a black hen? That just sounds like a terrible idea in general. Because people are going to kill that to eat it, maybe.
Did it work?
No, they didn't get there in time with the hen, and he died because he got shot in the head with a bullet.
Yeah, not. I mean, even in 1600s, getting shot with a bullet.
Mm-hmm. I would say that probably your chances then might even be worse.
Yeah, now we can at least pour the devil's cut on it and clean the wound. They didn't have that ability.
Oh man. So Oronto dies. His guys either get arrested or they flee into the woods. But after this incident, Houska Castle remains uninhabited for the foreseeable future again.
Okay, I want to take a step back.
Okay,
because what's he doing with the black hen? Is it a Horcrux?
Jesse's on this black hen.
Yeah, I'm on to this black hen. I just want to know.
I'm not sure. Black hen's pretty unusual though, right?
I've never seen a black hen, but I'm sure if I went to a chicken swap, I could find a black hen.
What's a chicken swap?
It's where like farmers get together and swap chickens and other farm animals.
Is it to like increase the gene pool or? Oh, okay, this is a real thing. You're not just making this.
Yeah,
up.
No, this is real. You got to go to like old farm towns.
It's not like a dance where you're just like.
Yeah, it's not a dance.
That kind of swap.
It is literally like it happens usually on a weekend. Whole bunch of people who own chickens and other farm animals meet in the same place and they swap things and sell things.
The people with the unpopular chickens just like sit in the corner and they're like, "Oh man, I wish my chickens were."
I wish somebody wanted my chicken.
Yeah,
but
and then all your chickens are inbred for the next 100 generations. And
but what you need when you're really looking at the chicken swap, you need to say, "What chicken is going to be my Horcrux? What chicken is going to carry my soul?"
Oh man, which of these chickens looks like he's got some fight in him?
I'd get like one of the fighting roosters.
Mm-hmm.
Be like,
but this was a hen though. This is the strange thing.
Yeah,
it wasn't a rooster.
I mean, I guess like what magic is there that puts that sounds like some voodoo shit.
It does. I can't even begin to imagine. I mean, maybe the chicken itself had some kind of powers, like the phoenix tears have the ability to heal, and like maybe
like the chicken cries on you when you heal.
I'm not real sure. Or maybe it's like how when you have a wound or something and people took the raw meat and like threw it on it. Like you're just getting the rawest of the meat because the chicken is still alive and he's gonna stop the bleeding.
He's gonna
You're just gonna use it to just like staunch the wound in the middle of his head. He's just gonna like hold it up against his head. I really don't know. There weren't a lot of firsthand sources that contributed to the chicken logistics.
But what a weird thing to say.
With my dying words.
The whole situation. Aronto. And then he's like, get me my black hen. Then he dies. So I also heard that literally at the moment he was working on creating the elixir of life at that moment.
Probably so.
Yeah, like on his desk, he had the like.
He was so close to it.
He
felt
knew,
like he was.
He knew the amount of urine he had to save up. He was just like, oh my God, I'm just weeks
We need
away.
14 more liters and I will be there.
Give me my glass of water. And then the last thing he said, give me my black hen.
Yep.
Oh man, poor guy.
Well, but he was kind of bad.
Yeah,
so.
he was evil.
Evil Aronto.
Evil Aronto, Horcrux master. Okay.
Now the castle is empty though.
Well, for a little while, but it starts gaining like popular. I mean, it's a place full of ghost stories now. Like people are thinking of it. Bandits
got a history.
have hung out there.
Yeah.
And so it kind of in like the age of enlightenment or hitting like 1800s, it kind of becomes this popular space again. Like not for hanging out, though sometimes people do. But like for
it's weird that it wasn't like inhabited though.
Yeah, like
that's strange.
People just
to
kind of
me.
went there.
Right.
And would stay there. But it's like this abandoned place. Like you could stay at this creepy place.
Some people some ruler paid for renovations to occur during the Renaissance period, and it got kind of updated, but it still kept its like creepy vibe. I watched some videos on YouTube of some people doing some ghost hunting, which I'll talk more about it later. But at some point there was an addition that was made near the chapel that was kind of like underneath the chapel. Did you see this?
I didn't.
Where it was called like the devil's sitting room or the
interesting.
And instead of all like the Christian mythology and artwork and stuff, that it was all like satanic stuff like that was like tucked away in this like crawl space.
I bet you Aronto made that.
Maybe so. It doesn't say like when this was made, but the devil had like a throne and there were like devil horns and like devil claws were the things that hold the candles in the walls.
Holy shit.
And it was like really creepy vibes, but I doubt that was built from the beginning.
No, that sounds like an Aronto add-on.
It does sound like an
because
add-on.
like it's just some kind of occultist, which it becomes that kind of occultist place. It's weird because it's like, and this happens sometimes to these like really spiritual like Catholic areas where they're like demons put down, God is lifted up, and then like other like
it was underneath.
and the cultists kind of come back and like, oh, we're gonna hearken to this old power.
Was that a normal thing to have depictions of both in places?
No.
It was not.
That starts like, honestly, that does start around, interestingly, a little bit after the Reformation. There's also this kind of like, again, the Age of Enlightenment. There's also this kind of like, after the Reformation, it's kind of like no one was in control of religion anymore, and everyone kind of did whatever they wanted. And so you give somebody a Bible and they're like, look how powerful some of these demons are. Look what they can do.
It reminds me of the gargoyles thing that you mentioned earlier, like why there were gargoyles that were depicted outside of these churches while I was there, the devil's sitting room underneath this chapel.
That one's a little creepier. That one is like the devil. The gargoyles were actually for some reason or somehow known to protect the church. Well, I don't know if the devil's sitting room is really that good.
In his like throne thing in the devil's sitting room, there was like an effigy or like a depiction of him, it was like a doll, kind of like not a statue. I don't think. I think it was more like something that was made after the fact and placed there, but it was like really creepy. I'll find a picture of it and put it up.
We'll put it up on the screen for you guys. Oh, God, that's creepy.
But it was terrifying.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. So there was a poet, Karl Macha. That went there in the 1800s. He was doing a walking tour in that area. He was just like, I need to go and see this weird castle.
So he knew about it.
Yeah. People knew about it. Like it had that lore that
he wasn't like a lost traveler that was searching for someone to stay on a rainy night.
No. He was like, I want to go here.
Okay.
And he actually did see like the vision of that like procession of ghosts with people falling, their arms falling off. He mentions that in writing to his friend. But what is even weirder is he decided to stay there that night.
Wow, that's brave. By himself? Must be, unless you have like an entourage.
Yeah,
I don't think it says that.
He's a poet.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has, he's alone getting inspiration, right? And so in his inspiration, he decides to stay there. It's 1836. That's a little while ago. Like that's 100 years even before, nearly 100 years before World War II.
And about 200 years after Aronto and the 30 Years War.
Yeah, exactly. So as he decides to stay there because he's a creep and he's like, yeah, this is gonna be great. He has this kind of like dream vision where he starts falling down the pit.
While he's sleeping there.
Yeah, while he's sleeping, he's just falling down the pit.
Wow.
But unlike the pit that we, us young boys are throwing down stones, he does come to a bottom.
Okay, what's at the bottom?
Well, when he hits the bottom, he lands into what seems to be like this new but familiar world.
How so?
It looks like Prague. It looks like, but it looks different. He says it actually looks hellish. That Prague looks hellish. That there's something like an upside down or something. He furthermore has some encounter with this like little girl who told him it's the year 2006.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is in 1836.
In 1836, in the dream, he has this vision of this little girl there that's like, oh no, it's 2006. And she shows him, he says she has a coffin in her hand that has a moving picture.
Oh, it must be a phone.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so he sees this and he writes extensively on to his friend how hellish it seemed. It was like, this is not okay. And he talks about these weird sandstone cliffs that are riddled with holes. And from the holes are these eerie yellow lights.
Like a skyscraper, maybe? Or a building?
So at that time, he didn't know what that was. But later, if it's 2006, by 2006, there's townhouses built there.
Townhouses, that's
yeah,
it.
and
Okay.
this kind of they look like literally like sandstone buildings.
Uh-huh.
So what happens is this really
especially
weird,
those like Soviet bloc style ones.
Exactly. So he's having this weird experience where
that's really specific for 1836 to be able to describe what becomes a modern cell phone and interior lighting.
Exactly. It's super weird. Like,
so he wrote this down then in the 1800s.
He wrote it to his friend. He wrote a letter about the dream he had, which I think also what's kind of weird is he calls it hellish. But if you look at some of the old pictures of Prague versus modern Prague or modern society in general, have you noticed how much more boring our buildings are? How much more unimaginative,
less personality that they have. Yeah, more conformist and homogenous.
And also, the Czech Republic did go through communism, creating those weird communist blocks and stuff like that.
It also makes me think: would they have a smog problem?
Yeah,
like smog in the air would make it look more hellish if there was like industrial smoke and stuff that wouldn't exist back then, because this is pre-industrial revolution probably, or I'm not sure when the industrial revolution
I couldn't say when it hit there.
Me neither, but it might be describing something kind of like that.
Yeah, it's very weird because and I thought was really weird is the fact they explained seeing a vision in which he's like that she's holding a like coffin in her hand. And
coffin is a strange word to describe that as opposed
with
to like
a moving
box.
picture. Yeah. Which is like when you look at your like iPhone or something, like, oh, that is kind of a box. But it is 2006, which I don't think the smartphone was quite
right
there yet.
iPhone was like 2008, I feel like.
But you remember the Razor, little flip ones? I mean,
or the bigger like box ones too that they would have had pre.
And you could get pictures and movement on them, but they just would look
Blackberries maybe.
Yeah, it looked crappy, but it was there. Like it definitely happened in 2006, but it wasn't like
it's still an imaginative prediction or like not prophecy, premonition.
Oh, again, and did he jump into the future, or did he actually go to an upside down world? Like we might be projecting this future because we're like, oh, look, he's explaining these sandstone houses that we know about, and he's explaining this phone that we have. But what happens if he really was just like in this kind of upside down version where demons were ruling and things like that? So there is some kind of like
the timeline could have been different.
Yeah,
for what happened from his consciousness going down into the pit. It might not be an accurate representation of the way that we are now in the future.
But I don't know.
Who knows? It does hit the nail on the head pretty good with the smartphones thing or with the phones. And
it does. And I think when we think of modernity versus a more ancient world, sometimes it does look a little hellish in comparison. Looks very prison-like sometimes.
Especially with how like the same everything with
it looks so the modern. I don't know what's with modern things, but modern things really do look like they were like, you know what? Screw humanity. Like you guys need to be in a prison.
Happens when everything's made by the lowest bidder.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just a little poet like that went there. That was Macho's experience there.
It's pretty cool.
But that was in the 1800s. I know that this place was not just. I mean, if we already have a Rato, the cultist, and the poets looking at it, I know there's other people looking at it.
There is. Oh, I forgot a story real quick, Jesse. I think this happened before the poet Matcha or whatever his name was.
Good job.
So there was the renovations that I talked about that happened sometime during like the 1500s or 1600s. And that during one of these renovations, it might have been a little bit later. It's probably after Oronto, because they were the royalty or the whoever was the ruling person was still paying for the Houska Castle to be like upkept from time to time. Like it wasn't falling down at all, like you would expect it to be if it was completely abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy was by himself, I think, doing some kind of renovations in the chapel, and he could hear voices that seemed like they were emanating from the walls. And it sounded like a chorus of voices or just general chit chat, like at a party, how there's kind of just like
like this kind of general chit chat,
like the din of the party that's happening, and that you can't really like make out individual conversations that people are having unless you focus on them specifically. But he could just hear like the general roar, and he would get close to the walls and he could make out a few words. And one of the words that he made out was the word seraph that was like said over and over and over again.
Like the seraphim from like the Bible?
Yes, exactly. Do you have any like insight as to like why he might hear the word seraph? Because it's the chapel, right? So it's like a holy place. What are the seraph normally like known
seraph
for?
Are known for being like the protectors of the throne of God.
Okay. So protector.
Or they're called the burning ones. I mean, that's literally what seraph means, the burning ones, the ones of light. They're not like the archangels. They're not like built actually around the throne of God. So I'm not really positive. Well, okay, so even weirder is like from underneath the floor of the chapel, a lot of times people say they would hear scratching or screaming.
That's really what I wanted to lead into with the story, is that it wasn't just the voices in the walls. And a lot of times people heard sounds coming specifically from the floor.
Yeah, which is weird.
Where the pit is located.
Yeah, it seems so strange. Like the think of like it seems that there's like almost like something happening. This kind of spiritual war.
So it's not just like the apparitions of the headless ghosts and the horses and the chimera type creatures. Is that you're getting this actually physical. When I say physical, I mean like tangible sound waves that are occurring. They're putting their ear to the floor and they're hearing sounds fairly often.
Which is like this kind of creepiness also, that kind of like when you think of like the weird throne of the devil underneath, like are people being held under there, or is there actually these kind of demons trying to scratch their way up?
Right.
And God, this place is getting like creepy, and then there's people whispering around and there's seraphs maybe, like what is happening here?
But you think that if it was like the physical barrier of the actual like wood and the stone and the castle would keep something physical out. But then if it's unable to pass through that physical barrier, then it must be some kind of spiritual being that is being trapped by the presence of the chapel being built on top of it.
Oh, so get this. Whenever chapels are blessed, they do two things. They don't just use holy water, which I'm sure you've heard of. Have you ever heard of holy salt?
What's that?
Holy salt is also from the Old Testament. Both holy water and holy salt come from the Old Testament, but remain used in the Roman Catholic Church or in the Catholic and Orthodox Church.
Do you put holy salt in your food?
No.
Oh.
Holy salt is used for exorcisms.
Oh, okay.
Holy salt is used often for protection against, like, people maybe put it. It's not used. It's not like people don't have it like they have holy water. Holy salt is used in very particular spaces, and it usually has something to do with protecting from demons and exorcisms.
Okay.
And so,
did you find any instances of holy salt that had to do with this Houska Castle?
I can probably assure you that positively they used holy salt.
Okay.
Like just as a normal thing when they're building a temple, especially one that was over a pagan area, holy salt's definitely part of that.
Okay.
That's not like you don't even historically need to question that one. That just is going to be a reality behind it. And so, yeah, this whatever these demons and whatnot are, they are bound. Like there's these ideas of that exorcism that they can't cross this area.
Right.
They can't cross past.
And it seems
this.
like maybe like the ghosts or the apparitions or like the like low level annoyance of the spirits that's happening to the vicinity are kind of just like the projections of these greater demonic forces that are able to like.
Or maybe the death of a lot of innocent people.
Right, that could
really
too, yeah.
Peace or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't really know what I feel about Ghost yet.
I'm not sure either. That's a good point.
Yeah, like I don't have a pin yet.
Because besides the creatures that we heard about earlier, it doesn't necessarily seem like the horse spirit, the guys and like the chain gang, the prisoners that they're necessarily malevolent type spirits. They're sort of like doing their own thing, which is what you see in a lot of ghost.
Yeah, like these maybe were things that were killed and offered to the gods in some weird way, or offered to these like old gods, these demons.
Right.
Or I mean, and it's weird when you think about the headless horse because of how many of these weird creatures like with the horse head and the serpent body. So what's these like other body parts of just creatures or human body parts? It's weird because all of these pseudo demon gods are made up part human, part animal. Now we're seeing other parts of animals and other parts of humans falling off and being left. There's some kind of weird mix happening there. That
It's
you're
very
just like,
strange.
what happens?
And a lot of times when you hear about ghost sightings or like ghost encounters in general, you generally hear about two different behaviors that the ghosts seem to take. And one of those is that like the ghosts are kind of like repeating the same actions that they did in life. And they're sort of like a GIF that keeps happening that's just like looping. And they're just, it's like happening in the same place.
They can't get out of that.
They can't get out of that.
It's almost like a limbo of some sort.
Yeah, they might not know that they're dead or like acknowledge that they're dead and that they're just bound to do the same actions that they did in life forever. And the other one is them like trying to like maybe kind of like contact somebody.
Yeah, trying to like reconcile or fix something.
Yeah, but that's kind of more on like the sketchier side of like, are they really like human souls or are they some kind of being pretending to be human souls? I don't know, to get people to interact with them, which giving them attention kind of like gives them energy.
You know, one of the things I was explaining to my students, we were talking about Sir Orfeo last week, which if you guys haven't listened to that episode, it's a pretty fun episode. We had a blast with that one. But Sir Orfeo, there's like that weird, we're not sure if the fairy king is in heaven or hell or in some weird in-between space because he has all those dead among him, right? And one of the things I think is pretty interesting is that there's kind of this creation of like for us in the modern world, a lot of times we think heaven or hell. A lot of us are like, of course, not.
It's very binary.
Yeah, it's just one or the other. And of course, Catholics have purgatory, but purgatory is still leading to heaven. But Catholicism at this time, it did have those three things. But there was a lot of people. It was never like official or anything, but there was a lot of people who also believed in limbo.
Oh, limbo, yeah.
It's never been an official teaching, but there are people even now who still believe in limbo. Limbo is just this kind of space in which the soul is trapped for at least now or for a little while. We don't know if it's forever or if it's just for a little while, but they have some kind of like unfinished business or their soul was obsessed with something. So it has to repeat itself.
Until it like learns its lesson
maybe,
or
I don't know the rules to limbo,
right.
But like
because there are no rules.
Yeah. And I wonder if that would be closer to like what we would get with like why people are ghosts, why people are experiencing this kind of like
inability to move on or to embrace the fact that they're dead a lot of the time.
Like unable to like move forward because they weren't there yet. I don't know.
That seems like it's probably like a topic for like a different
episode. Yeah, like definitely above my pay grade.
But ghosts are definitely something that we tangentially touch on in Legends and Libations. So it makes sense for us to talk about that when we get the opportunity to.
Yeah.
But it's one of those subjects that I don't feel like we were prepared to have an episode on ghosts specifically or like the dynamics of ghosts.
Could you imagine trying to do an episode on ghost?
Yes, but there's so much that you could say in that it's all very subjective. And people seem to have different experiences. Like while there is kind of a template to ghosts a lot of the time when I said that they had like certain typical behaviors, but it also like runs the gamut from one extreme to the other. And that what did those extremes signify a lot of the time? Like they don't fit into neat boxes.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, this is this kind of ghost and this does this. So I don't really feel like I can always answer these like harder questions on what exactly is happening in that space, but something is. And
it could be that they're demons.
Yeah, it could be that they're demons or some kind of weird supernatural things that
we don't understand or like don't know the rules for, or just it's out of our spiritual understanding.
Yeah, out of our it's above our pay grade.
It's out of our purview.
And I'm not sure we need to know either.
No, I think a lot of those things are kind of like kept secret or like not secret, but just obscured from our understanding in general, so we don't obsess over them.
I'm just doing it 7 times.
That's fine. Like 7's a good holy number. I feel like
I don't need to do all
right, like Voldemort and the Horcruxes. Yeah. Speaking of Voldemort, so eventually the Nazis took over. Houska Castle. I'm not even kidding. 1939.
How did the Nazis come there again?
Because
how are they everywhere?
You know how Hitler was just like moving the Nazis every direction that he could possibly move the Nazis at the beginning when he had the Blitzkrieg, and he just wanted to go as fast as he could to gain as much territory before everyone else was able to like mobilize. And that one of his number one quick targets right off the bat was in the Sudetenland. And I think that this was part of where there were ethnic Germans that were, you know how like after World War I that Germany got like shrunk from the borders of it, like, and how this was probably part of Germany that was
these are
prior to World War I.
Yeah, the Germanic people groups.
So he was like taking back that territory pretty quickly, and that happened to be in this area of Bohemia where Czechoslovakia was at the time. And history buffs can probably correct me because I'm just giving you like the quick and dirty version that is my understanding. But the bottom line is that the Nazis went and took over Houska Castle because the story goes that they used it as a repository to keep a bunch of occult books, because you know how we were bombing Germany pretty heavily after we actually did like get into the war.
Yeah, we were like, hey, we're involved.
Berlin was like a major target a lot of the time. So all of these, we talked about in the Spear of Destiny episode how they kept supposedly the spear and other works of art underneath this castle that was in Nuremberg. Well, they also had confiscated like libraries and texts and manuscripts from all these places over Europe, and they didn't want to lose them in the bombings. So they designated 4 castles in Czechoslovakia for repositories for these books that they had stolen. And Houska Castle was one of the 4 castles that they decided to turn into a safe place for these books to reside. And so that's like the cover story.
Because I mean, you can't bomb the Hell Castle,
right? Or you open up the Hell Pit.
Yeah, you're creating a problem.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if we took that into account when we were bombing, but I don't know if Houska Castle ever received any type of bombing because it's kind of like off the beaten path. So
like
it probably didn't.
Who's
anyway.
thinking that? Yeah,
but we might not have been paying attention to it, but the Nazis definitely were paying attention to it.
Wow.
And so you think about Hitler's right-hand guy, Heinrich Himmler, was
the cult guy.
Yes,
he loves cult stuff.
Very into the cult stuff. This is right up his alley. He's like, oh, pit to hell, sign me up. We're going there tomorrow. I'm already there, actually.
He would have been the guy who's like, yeah, I'm going down there, actually. And then come out, that's like that red-faced guy from the
He'd probably look younger.
You fit right in, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. It did wonders for his skin. But so Himmler was there with some other high-ranking SS officers, and there are a couple of different accounts for what may have happened, because it's not like they were opening this up to like the international press or anything. Like the Associated Press wasn't.
Yeah, they weren't like Trump. They weren't like just putting everything online for everyone to read.
One of the podcasts that I listened to.
In this podcast, we've been fun of them.
Well, if only there was someone else that was equally as fun to make fun of. But one of the podcasts that I listened to about this said that if you were just a local villager and you wanted to peruse the repository of banned books that the Nazis had, well, you were out of luck because it was only available to the SS officers. And I'm like, what villager is going to be like, on my day off, I'm just going to go up to Houska Castle and ask if I can look over the alchemy manuscripts?
Can we talk about for 1 second how creepy the SS officers?
Yeah.
How creepy they were, like with their little silver skulls and stuff like that,
red and black.
Yeah, like these guys. If anyone's like
on their shoulders,
yeah.
Well, Hugo Boss dressed them, and they had some style.
They were like,
and Mercedes made their vehicles,
but they looked like super villains. Like you're like, yeah, those guys are going to probably hurt us.
Yep,
they're going to do something wrong. They're the sketchy guy who you know is the villain in the beginning of the
It's because the whole thing was like orchestrated from top to bottom to just like be an efficient like evil machine. And
evil machine.
And it totally was. Because one of the reasons that they might have been at Houska Castle was to develop their breeding program. Because you know how they had this idea of like the Aryan race was the perfect race, and that they had kidnapped.
They didn't know that we actually had high cholesterol.
They had taken these women throughout Germany and like maybe forced them to breed with the SS officers that were deemed of like the highest genetic
What's up with
stock.
this happening?
I don't know. All these guys, all these like occult cult leader type people are always obsessed with breeding and the genetics of things, and it's usually only their genetics that they want to pass on. But I see a pattern. I see a pattern there. But it's really unclear exactly what they were doing there, because villagers nearby said that they could hear like sounds and lights and stuff like that were happening throughout the night during the occupation, but that's just kind of vague.
Oh, like they could have been creating Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But
Frankenstein's monster.
Allegedly, they were possibly doing the same type of thing that Aranto was doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they sound a lot like Aranto, but like
that Himmler was probably doing the same type of like black magic, blood magic rituals to hopefully turn the tide of the war in favor of Germany, because it was probably getting to the point where it was slipping out of their hands, and they were like the Spear of Destiny, the Holy Grail.
They're trying to like hold on
they're throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And this pit to hell looks like a good way to get the evil. Since they're the embodiment of evil, then what is better to help them in the war is the literal pit to evil itself. Yeah. So they were just like seeing what they could do with that. I'm not exactly sure like the specific logistics of what these type of rituals would include, but I
did hear that there was some rumor among like them at this time that there was even zombie Nazis.
Oh, really?
Created. Yeah, which I always thought that was just a Call of Duty thing.
Me
or
too.
Something.
Yeah,
but apparently there allegedly was like a rumor of like them bringing back old Nazi leaders from the dead and them walking among them as like kind of zombie power.
Well, that's really interesting because
powerful zombie creatures.
In the years after World War II, one of the purposes of Houska Castle was to serve as a sanatorium or like a place of convalescence is what I heard, where you store sick people. In this specific case was children, where you sent sick children like into quarantine or whatever.
You gotta send them to the Hell Castle?
To the Hell Castle, yes, exactly.
Fun.
And so while the children that were sick were at the Hell Castle, they were just playing around. And during that time, they discovered under the floorboards of the chapel that there were 3 dead Nazis.
Weird.
That were just lying there. And it seemed that there was no battle ever at Houska Castle. Yeah, so that they were killed by their own guys. So were they killed as part of like some kind of blood ritual?
Or like offering themselves like to Odin?
I doubt they offered themselves. They're probably like, Eins Wein dry, you.
Well, I mean, like, you remember, like, some of the things Nazis are doing is they're kind of re-establishing this kind of neo-paganism of like the Germanic religion. And actually the Vikings did have like this kind of concept of sacrificing 9 humans to Odin a year.
Okay.
And so maybe they were kind of replicating something like that also, like, but those people had to be volunteers,
right?
But only people who like are following a cult volunteer for that shit. So like they're like, hell yeah, for the Nazi cause.
It's like the people in the Heaven's Gate cult. Have you heard about this before?
What are those?
Okay, so I think it was in like maybe like 1992 or before. There was this comet that was like headed towards Earth. And you know how we talked about the remote viewers in the episode about the moon, about how they were remote viewing the moon. So there was this remote viewer who was remote viewing the comet and said that there was an alien spacecraft that was like hiding in the tail of the comet.
Good hiding place.
And so there's this cult spring up around the potential contact of extraterrestrials coming from this comet, because it was like still like it's coming ways away.
Yeah.
And that in order for the people in the cult to ascend to become part of like, or to make get their spirits on board the alien spacecraft, that half of them had to commit suicide. And so in like California in the 90s, I'm pretty sure there was maybe like 20 to 40 people all drank this poison thing and killed themselves. And it's called the Heaven's Gate cult, so that the other ones could ascend to the comet. But I'm pretty sure instead they all got arrested. Don't quote me on this, but
yeah, that seems like a arrestable.
But they were like balls deep in it in order to believe it for it to happen. They didn't unknowingly do it. They volunteered for it.
It seems to me that's just crazy when people do things like that. Like somebody falling for the Nazi trope because they're scared to die is one thing. But another to be
or because your neighbor and everyone you know is doing it too.
Yeah.
So it's just like conformity.
But to be like that convinced where you're just like,
oh yeah, I
all right, here I am. Kill me. You're just like, what the hell? So
I'll
weird.
never understand that.
Neither do I. I don't understand that.
But that must have
I
been a
guess we don't
shock.
have enough cause.
Yeah, that must be it. But just imagine being those kids and you're just like, oh, there's
Nice.
some dead bodies over here.
So did the Nazis get anywhere with that place, or did it kind of just fall into despair again after?
I couldn't find anything, but obviously they didn't win the war. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah, it just kind of disappeared. Do we have their books? Do we find all their books?
I want to say that they burned them. I'm
Damn it.
pretty sure that everything was set on fire. And that's why there was no record that survived.
It seems like a weird place for them to set up, but also with their weird occult obsession, it seems totally...
That makes a lot of sense. The fact that the castle was not of strategic importance to anything, like it wasn't on like the front lines of the battle or anything, and you couldn't defend it necessarily.
But no one's thinking about going there. Like
Right.
America's not like, we're going to bring freedom to Houska Castle.
They went there specifically for the evil that surround the pit and the legend of that evil.
Which is very... It's funny because like whenever we first watch like Indiana Jones, we're like, it just seems like they're always like connecting the Nazis with this occult stuff, and we're like, that's just good storytelling.
The more time goes by, the more we find out that that's true.
Yeah, we just actually, as we've been doing Legends Libations, I'm just like,
We're making the case for that.
yeah, I feel like we have a pretty good case where it's
yeah.
Nazis love occult thing, or they like anything that could be magical, they were probably involved with.
You could have a whole podcast, I feel like, just about that.
Yeah, like how many? I'm pretty positive they're in just most of our episodes.
Oh yes, they were not in the Viking one.
And they were not in the
Sir Orfeo.
Sir Orfeo, and maybe not Momotaro
or Sleepy Hollow. But every other episode, I'm
there.
sure that the Nazis were in.
You know, another weird little thing about Houska Castle was a lot of hunters did use it in times periodically between like when it wasn't being used. A lot of hunters just would.
It was like a hunting lodge in like Canada or Montana.
So it has tons of deer heads.
Yeah, I saw
like
some of those.
Tons of weird deer.
Some of them are humongous.
Yeah, right. Like, but kind of creepy, right? Like that. There's just hundreds of deer heads.
Turkeys as well.
Yeah.
I think are vultures. Other types of birds. All kinds of like armor and axes adorn the walls.
It's a weird place.
It's a very strange place. They have a ballroom. I'm not sure if they're having any
Want a wedding there?
Yeah. Maybe not a wedding, but in the 70s, 1974, there was this band called the Plastic People of the Universe. Yeah, I don't know about I don't know, but they recorded an album there.
What weirdos.
That sounds strange, doesn't it?
We should listen to that.
We should. I bet they had some cool acoustics.
Maybe
though.
We'll put it on the end of the.
Yeah, if it's not copyrighted, but if it's any good at all, it's probably absolutely trash. But we'll see. So in 1999, the Houska Castle opened for tours. So now you can go and you'll have a tour guide and they'll show you around and give you the spiel that we just gave you, except in more condensed version.
Yeah, if you guys want to support Legends Libations in a real special way, you guys pay for us to go there.
Yeah, if in a real special way, you can get to spend the night by yourself there without any like supervision or anything.
Would you do that? Would you stay at Houska Castle?
That is a great question. I watched 2 videos on ghost investigations that happened there with people who spent the night, and it was pretty scary. They went down into like the devil's sitting room.
Oh, why would you do that? Oh, that gives me the creeps.
and they even went down further into like this like hole in the wall where they like slid this panel out of the way, and it like went down into like this even like more narrow tunnel underneath the thing, and they found like the stone slabs.
Like the ones sent by
the ones over the pit
by King Wenceslas.
The ones over the pit, and there was in one of them there was just like a single Polaroid photo that was sitting on top of the rock that was on top of the pit. And they went and picked up the Polaroid photo, and it looked just like an abyss, like a black pit, but it had some texture to it, like as if it was taken of the actual hole. But I don't know how they got a picture of the actual hole.
Yeah. Oh God, that's so weird.
But most of the time you're not allowed to stay overnight. You have to get like special permission to spend the night there, because after they opened it up for overnight tours, that some guy threw himself out of one of the windows.
He apparently chose one of the right ones.
Yeah,
because most of them aren't even there.
He was like playing Russian roulette with the windows, but it was
Is this
like
a window or a wall?
It's like Roadrunner and Coyote, and you just like go straight through it.
I mean, probably he was already thinking about that. Maybe
So.
It's hard to say, but like you don't. Do we close things just because? Maybe, I don't know.
Just because people do dumb things like that, or were they like predisposed to kind of
doing dumb things,
have that behavior anyway,
and then they did it.
Probably that one.
Yeah, but
Who knows?
but maybe Houska Castle drove him to that. I would be pretty creepy. Like, what happens if like we went there, stayed, and it just becomes this kind of horror film? But
I
it's
would
real
not
life.
be surprised by that.
Yeah.
You get a lot of accounts of like the typical things that happen during ghost investigations, like paranormal investigations, such as they do this thing where they record sound and they get what they're called EVPs,
Yeah,
which are
I've seen that on like ghost
electrical
shows.
voice
Yeah,
phenomenon or something like that, and they kind of just like try to make out what they're saying in the static a lot of the time.
Would they
Sometimes
be speaking Old Slavic? Are they doing Latin? Are they doing English?
one of the ghost investigations I saw that they use a translator app on their phone that you literally had like
So,
Google Translate. Yeah, but they got a lot of the typical evidence, like hearing footsteps from the levels where there weren't supposed to be anybody, or like hearing bangs on the walls, having like hot and cold spots appear in the air. That was my computer asking me to update to Windows 11, and I keep telling it no.
I was wondering.
But a lot of batteries would drain on their phones and their camera equipment a lot of time, even though they had just replaced the batteries. Allegedly, like cars won't start a lot of the time. Light bulbs will burst when they flick on the lights. That was actually an occurrence that happened from like the time that lights were installed and electricity was installed in Houska Castle. That the chandelier, particularly in not the ballroom, it's called the hunter's room or something like that, where the chandelier above would be notorious for the lights exploding.
I do recall a story of a guy also that was there with some friends that had a glass of wine that, as he was set it down, I think it was in the hunter's room, it just levitated and floated.
Oh, wow.
And he grabbed it and put it back down, and then it moved to the other side of the table.
That's crazy.
So that it was just kind of like an offhanded story of like a guy who I was staying there with some friends, like he was given permission, or maybe he was owner for a little while.
That's pretty creepy.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
This castle's full of this stuff.
Allegedly, like birds would die more frequently.
Oh yeah, that I read that there's a lot of birds that just die around there.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also like a lot of bats in some of the rooms. So they're not allowed to open up some of the doors because of bats.
I'm surprised that the whole thing is not infested with bats.
Yeah. And also, like, there's so many questions about that just in that whole situation.
Mm-hmm. But as far as would you spend the night? I don't know, dude. Like, I would spend the night maybe if I had somebody else with me. By myself, though, is completely out of the question. I would not do it by myself.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm not sure I would stay at very many haunted places by myself.
Right.
But like that one where it's over a gate of hell,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could do it. If we as
Had
legends
legends and libations there.
and we were able to drink and pray rosaries, maybe.
If we were drinking by the end of the night, we'd be down there with pickaxes trying to like bust open the pit.
Let's get in. Let's get in. Oh,
But I'm not sure. You know, there's been a lot of speculation about why don't they just open the pit now with like our modern technology and do fly a drone down there or something. And the reason that they give for not doing it is that there might be unexploded munitions from like World War II or something because the Nazis had that presence there. But that's just a cover story. That just means that they just don't want to do it.
or they know something.
Or they know what. Well, yeah, that's why they don't want to do it, because they know what
Because
would
they
happen.
know what's happening.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
God, it's like this other dimension, and it doesn't necessarily have to even be hell. It could be dimensional. It could be the upside down.
It doesn't.
I feel like Stranger Things could have ran with this one a little bit, and they kind of did with their weird upside down and Russia stuff. But
Apparently, there's a Doctor Who episode about Houska Castle, but I
an
haven't.
old one.
I think it's one of the Peter Capaldi ones, but I'm not 100%.
Oh, nice, nice. I haven't watched all those.
I haven't either. Don't quote me on that though. But it doesn't seem like it's in anyone's best interest to really open the pit.
Yeah, like let's just keep it close.
Mm-hmm. Just for
Let
like all of
sleeping dogs
humanity.
lie.
Yeah, we should probably just like keep that chapel over it. Like if there's all this
We should go
precautions, that maybe it was for an actual reason. I don't know. I kind of lean into that side of the myth.
Yeah, like let it go.
Yeah. Well, what do you think that you would rate this legend, Jesse?
This legend was, I think, one of our more concise ones,
Mm-hmm.
actually, which was kind of nice. Truly enjoyed some of the creepy spaces of this.
Uh-huh.
And like it kind of keeps just going. Like it still is kind of this active thing that's
Mhm.
happening.
Like people are having the experiences there now when they go
The
to
ghost
it.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ghost stuff. And I think I would give this legend an 8.
Okay.
Eight's
pretty high.
I don't know if it's too high. It could be.
No, I don't think it's too high. I was going to say a 7 or a 7.5. So let's go with a 7.5 maybe.
Yeah, let's shoot 7.5 because I feel like it was. I liked some.
It's good.
Well, and I like the engagement with like this, like it. If it was just that the chapel was built and it was like had nothing to do with the past, that would have been one thing. But it's so crazy how much the chapel replicates the old gods and kind of is like
it tells a story.
Yeah, it's almost deterring these old warning and old powers. Like it's almost holding back this old, almost like demonic religion and saying you can't exist here. And it feels, I mean, the fact that we still are hearing things and stuff underneath it feels creepy and it feels really like lively. So I'm just like, there's not like, it's not an overextensive story, but like it's concise and it's freaky.
And like most paranormal things, you're never going to get like an actual ghost that pops out and is like, here I am, here's the proof sort of thing. Like it all has
it's never Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. It all always has to lurk right outside of our perception and our grasp. And then Houska Castle has like just the perfect amount of that. I mean, like
the fact that we're not willing to stay there makes me feel like it's a pretty good legend because like I'm not willing to stay there alone at night.
Oh yeah, me neither. And from the pit story to the Oronto story and then like the Nazi occupation, you sort of have like the legend feeding into itself because maybe it wasn't an actual pit that a winged creature demon was clawing itself out of every night to take villagers and livestock down to hell. But there was still blood magic rituals happening from Oronto. There was still the Nazis that were killed there, that were buried under the floor.
Lots of like horrible things done to women there. It's just like there's just so many.
After a while, it becomes like a self-sustaining legend. Like even if the origin of it is kind of ambiguous, that it still has that mythology that's been built
exactly
in more modern times. I give it a 7.5. I think is a good.
I think a
number.
solid 7.5 is good. Yeah. For St. Michael's sword, the cocktail, how are we feeling?
I would give it I'd probably give it an 8.5. I like this one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. This is, guys, I almost wondered if it was going to be kind of old fashioned-y.
Remind me of what the old fashioned tasted like. That was the maple syrup one.
That was the maple syrup one for Paul Bunyan.
That was like one of my favorite ones. Yeah. Absolutely.
This one has like,
this was more on the whiskey side.
Yeah. This hangs a little bit more alcohol whiskey, not a little less, but it is sweet a little bit because of that raspberry liqueur. Again, other recipes do ask for brandy, blackberry brandy. It's kind of up to you how you want to experience that.
I think brandy was a very regional thing in the Czech Republic. I think they made like plum brandy was something that a lot of households had access to.
Yeah.
Because they can make it themselves.
Yeah, it's easy to make.
Do you know how to make it?
Allegedly.
We could make some
legends and
libations brandy.
But I think this is a very good drink. Like I would like this at like a normal bar. Very easy.
I almost want another one, dude.
Yeah, I think maybe after we close down, maybe we'll have another one without you guys. Yeah. Apologize, but we sometimes keep drinking after. Not all the time. Sometimes we're pretty
Sometimes we throw up.
Yeah, but in general, pretty awesome drink. St. Michael's sword.
Awesome drink. Awesome legend too. I had a good time with this one. It was actually like proper creepy.
Yeah,
I think
I felt the shivering in my boots.
Me too. Yes. I had the liquid courage to like get us through it.
Yeah.
If I spent the night there, I would have to have some liquid courage. Otherwise,
like I'm bringing a couple bottles of this to make it through the night.
Definitely.
Well, I know, and I really do like this Devil's Cut. I didn't know what it would be like, and it's pretty tasty.
I liked it too.
Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us at Legends Libations. This is our Halloween episode. Happy Halloween.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
We hope you guys enjoy the holiday season.
Maybe you learned something that you had never heard of before. If you're definitely go look at some pictures or maybe some tours of Houska Castle and you'll see what we mean.
Yeah, go take a trip. Go take a trip. You need to. So again, goodbye from Legends and Libations. Happy Halloween.
And we'll see you next time.